And now Julia has not always been a black sheep. Sitting quietly at the back desk, she remembered how it was before. They used to have a full family. Dad worked as a trucker. She remembered how he always brought gifts after long flights. Mom tried to cook more delicious things for his arrival, and she and her younger brother had fun running around the house and cleaning. Yulia knew that her father would come and bring flowers to her mother, and toys or treats for her and Misha. And no matter how much he gets tired, he will still find time to play with them. Their family was not rich, but they were not poor either. Mom also worked, although Dad many times suggested that she leave and take care of the house. My mother worked as a nurse in a small hospital. She always said, "How will I leave? After all, we need to help people. My work is also very important." Mom always taught that you should treat people the way you want to be treated, and everything was fine with them. So that evening they were waiting for Dad from the flight. Mom shared with Yulia that Dad is still waiting for the news about the replenishment in their family. Julia was happy and asked for a sister. But then a policeman came instead of Dad. Already approaching their village, a passenger car took off on Dad's lane, and Dad, trying to get away from a head-on collision, flew into a ditch. He understood that if he did not do anything, the people in the car would not survive a collision with his heavy truck. But he couldn't handle the controls himself. Rain or fatigue from a long trip may have affected. Andrei didn't come out, and in the passenger car, everyone remained intact. They were touched a little. There was a family with a child. The driver felt bad with his heart, and because of this he drove into the oncoming lane in the rain. The policeman still said a lot of things, but neither Yulia nor her mother heard him anymore. The funeral was quiet, although many people came. Andrei always helped everyone in any way he could, and about 30 people came to say goodbye to him. After that, everything was different at home. Mom was constantly crying quietly at night. I talked to the baby in my stomach and asked what to do next. Yulia heard everything and somehow went to her mother, put her hand on her stomach and said, "Mommy, we can handle everything. I will help with both Misha and my sister." They had to sell their apartment and buy a small dilapidated house on the outskirts of the village. But now they could grow their own vegetables and have chickens. As soon as the youngest Lisa was taken to kindergarten, her mother went to her main job and also worked part-time cleaning entrances and apartments, which she did during the decree, while Yulia looked after her brother and sister. But money was sorely lacking, and they saved on everything they could. Therefore, now Yulia did not go to school in new dresses, and became a target for ridicule of classmates. "Julia, are you going to get married in this dress?" Classmates were laughing, but Julia did not pay attention to them. Previously, she was offended, did not understand why they were so with her, because she treats everyone well. And now I'm just used to sitting quietly and being silent in response to ridicule. She studied well. Yulia had a dream to finish school well, go to university, and help her mother. She didn't tell her mom anything at home, and Mom understood everything without words, but she couldn't do anything. It's been 5 years since Dad died, but Mom didn't meet men. She didn't need them. She gave all of herself to the children, and in return, they helped with everything they could. All summer Julia worked part-time, wherever an 8th grader could work. This year, Misha went to the 1st grade, and Yulia, knowing what kind of evil children there are, did everything so that she and her mother could buy him new clothes and a beautiful backpack. And Julia was given a blouse skirt by a neighbor who brought some things from her granddaughter in the city. Baba Palya always helped in any way she could, seeing how the whole family was trying to survive. And the children, in response to kindness, helped her in the garden, since it was already hard for her grandmother to do a lot. And now Julia missed the ridicule. Thinking that Misha would not have to listen to this, she would not let him offend. Then the teacher came into the classroom. Anastasia Pavlovna was a fair teacher and always evaluated everyone with knowledge. She saw people laughing at Yulia, made comments to the guys, but it only made it worse. A girl was standing behind Anastasia Pavlovna. "Meet guys. This is Katya, your new classmate." "Kat, come and sit at the second desk." When Katya went to her seat, the whole class was stunned. She was very beautiful and dressed in expensive branded clothes. All the fashionistas of the class immediately realized that these were not fakes, as they were dressed on them. During recess, everyone ran away to get acquainted with the new girl. Katya reluctantly got acquainted. She didn't like such ingratiating looks. Then she saw Yulia sitting quietly on the last desk. Noticing where she was looking, her classmates said, "Yes, don't even look there. It's our Nishenko." a nerd, and they laughed out loud. But then the bell rang for the lesson, and everyone fell silent. After school, Katya approached Yulia. "I'm Katya," the girl said softly. "My name is Julia." Yulia lowered her eyes and continued, "Don't come near me. I'm not looking for pity." After that, she got up and went home. Katya remained standing in disbelief. No, she didn't feel sorry for the girl. She liked the fact that Julia did not approach like everyone else and did not try to please her and make friends. When Katya came home, she told her grandmother everything, to which Olga Viktorovna replied to her, "If you want to make friends with a girl, then you will. You're a smart girl, and you've never judged people by their clothes. And Yulia, apparently, has to deal with evaluation often. You'll find a way to approach her, I'm sure." Katya hugged her grandmother, and they went to lunch. Katya grew up in a wealthy family, but she rarely saw her parents. They were constantly on business trips, and mostly her grandmother was engaged in her upbringing, and this year the grandmother said that she wanted to move back to her village with her granddaughter. Olga Viktorovna has worked in this village as a teacher all her life. Katya's parents didn't mind. They just said they would buy a house so that everyone could fit in. And then where should they come to Olga Viktorovna's one-room apartment? And so they did. A month has passed. Classmates all did not lose hope of making friends with Katya, but they were also disgusting to her. She could hear them laughing at Yulia, and at such moments, even calm Katya's fists itched. And then one day Yulia didn't come to school. After lessons, Katya went to the teacher to find out why Yulia was not at school, but she didn't know. But Katya found out the address. When Katya came home, she told her grandmother that she was worried about Yulia. Suddenly she was ill and wanted to visit. Olga Viktorovna was not against it. She gave Katya some money so that she bought some goodies, but she punished it to be the most ordinary, so as not to embarrass the girl. Katya bought some fruit, a chocolate bar, and went to the address. When she came to the right address, she saw a small dilapidated house with a leaning fence. The gate was not closed, and she went in. Everything was clean and tidy in the yard, and there were a lot of beautiful flowers. She knocked softly on the door. "Who's there?" A boyish voice was heard. "My name is Katya. I'm Julia's classmate. I came to check on her. She wasn't at school today." The boy opened the door, and still not letting her into the house, looked at the girl. "Mish, who's there?" A quiet voice was heard from the house. "Julia's friend," the boy replied. "So why are you keeping her on the doorstep? Bring it home." Katya went into the house. The house had old furniture, but it was very clean and cozy. A woman was lying on the sofa. It was obvious that she was ill. "Hello," Katya said softly. "Yulia didn't come to school today, and I thought she was sick. I brought her some fruit." The woman smiled. "Hello, namesake. I'm Aunt Katya. Julia didn't tell me about you." "Well, we're not exactly friends." Katya was shy. "But I would really like to become one." "Mish, bring the girl's chair," the woman said. Misha brought a stool and saw fruit. His eyes lit up. He only ate oranges on New Year's Eve. Katya handed the package to the boy. Mom nodded approvingly, and he ran with the package screaming, "Lisa, look what I have." "Katenka, Julia didn't get sick. I got sick. And since I work alone, Yulia went to my job instead of school. We can't lose our earnings. You see how we live. And I get drunk with tea and lie down. I hope I'll rest up today and be able to go to work tomorrow." And she coughed. Katya saw that tea wouldn't help here. When she found out where Yulia was, she went to her home first. After telling everything to her grandmother, the granddaughter asked her to buy medicines for Aunt Katya. The grandmother, of course, agreed, smiled, and once again made sure that she had brought up the girl well. They went to the pharmacy, and Katya went the familiar way. She handed Misha a bag of medicines right on the doorstep, fearing that Aunt Katya would refuse to help if she gave it herself. "And then I quickly went to the hospital, because Yulia was there now." Katya walked and thought about what she would say, how to explain why she came. But she herself didn't even know the answers to these questions. When she went to the hospital, she was shown where Yulia was. Katya saw a frail girl dragging a bucket and diligently washing the walls, then the floor. She came closer to her and said, "Hi, Yul, and let me help you." Julia was very surprised. How will it help? After all, she is in such good clean clothes, and here it is necessary to wash the walls and floor. But while Julia was thinking, Katya had already grabbed a rag and got to work. So for the rest of the day, the girls worked together almost without talking. The next day, Katya also came, only in the morning. After all, it was the weekend, and there was no need to go to school. Julia greeted her with a smile. Mom asked me to tell you a big thank you for the medicine. She's already getting better. I'll work part-time and give you the money. Katya was indignant. I don't need any money. People should help each other. After all, you have to treat others the same way you want them to treat you. Julia smiled. After all, she often heard this phrase from her mother and tried to adhere to this position in life herself. The girls worked together all weekend. Katya learned the history of Yulia's family, and something in this story seemed familiar to her, but she could not figure out what. But after these 2 days, the girl definitely decided that she wanted to be a doctor and help people. She told Yulia about it, and she said that it was her dream. They agreed that at school they would behave the same way as before, so that there would be no attacks from classmates, and after school they would meet. On Monday, the teacher said that on Friday there would be an autumn score at school, and it was necessary to go dressed up. Everyone was outraged. What's the score? We are already big, and this has not been done in school for a very long time. But the teacher looked sternly at everyone and said that attendance was mandatory. Classmates looked at Yulia and asked with mockery, "Are you going to wear your dress again, in which you're going to get married?" Yulia lowered her eyes and said nothing. After school, Katya asked if Yulia had a dress and nodded. Friday evening came. Julia came the very first, to sit somewhere far away and be invisible. She and her mom patched up her dress and sewed maple leaves cut out of old things. But classmates still noticed Julia and could not resist hastily. In the midst of this action, Katya entered. She was wearing a very beautiful dress. It was of different colors, which smoothly passed from one tone to another. The girls from the class immediately remembered that they had seen such a dress in a fashion magazine. Everyone immediately ran to Katya. Everyone wanted to take a closer look at the dress and touch the fabric. But Katya walked past them and approached Yulia. "Get up," Katya said threateningly. "We need to go out and talk." And they went to the bathroom. All the classmates froze in place. They were afraid to follow. They were not afraid for Yulia that a cool girl would do something to her, but they were just in a state of shock. When the girls went into the bathroom, Julia looked at Katya in bewilderment, to which Katya said, "Take off your dress." "Kat, what are you doing? I thought you were." Katya didn't let her finish her sentence. "Take it off and we'll change. You and I are the same size." Julia dutifully took off her old dress and put on a new one. She looked at herself in the mirror and smiled. Still, sometimes clothes paint a person. And Katya looked at the sewn leaves on the dress and also smiled. When the girls entered the assembly hall of the school, no one could say a word. But Katya could. "So who wants to laugh at my dress?" she asked with a ringing and mocking tone. But there was silence in response. Only the teacher, seeing all this, came up to Katya and said, "I'm so glad you transferred to our class." "Thank you, Katenka." When the ball ended, Julia wanted to take Katya back to the bathroom, but she refused. "Julia, let's change forever. I love these leaves so much." "You won't be scolded by Mom." "It won't," Yulia answered. And laughing loudly, the girls left the school. When Yulia came home, her little sister screamed, "Mom, Mom, look how beautiful Julia is." "Julia, and then this dress will be mine." "Of course it will." Yulia smiled, and Katya listened to everything and looked approvingly and said, "That's what real friends do. Appreciate such people in your life, daughter." And Katya was met at home by her grandmother. When she saw the outfit, she smiled. And you and I didn't think of sewing the leaves. And here's what a beauty." She sat her granddaughter next to her. "Kat, I need to tell you something. I talked to your parents today. I didn't know this before. They didn't tell me. They didn't want to disturb me. Do you remember how Yulia's father died?" Katya nodded uncomprehendingly. "So, he saved your parents and you. Say it or not, Julia, decide for yourself. But you should know." "I'm not going to talk yet, Grandma. Then the time will come, and I will tell you. But now I appreciate our friendship even more." On Monday, after coming to school, Katya moved to Yulia. The teacher was not against it, and classmates no longer dared to laugh and mock the girl. And the girls studied hard, because a medical university was waiting for them ahead. And this is a completely different story. Friends, do you think Katya did the right thing by changing dresses? Write your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.